And there. Gotta make sure the sound's on. Okay, welcome. Here I am again. Don Higgins, artist, illustrator, art director. I get the credentials out of the way here. I work with Fossa Games. I've worked with Fireside Creations, Dilly Green Bean Games, Eldritch Enterprises, multiple different places doing multiple different things artistically. And I'm now, for a little over a year, I've been doing this live stream thing and enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. As I've been doing the past few weeks, a person has asked me in the past if there was anybody I could have sit down and draw them and chat in the studio with them. Anybody in the world, who would you have? And I thought Jason Momoa. So again, like I've been doing for the past few weeks, Jason Momoa, if you're out there, got Guinness in the fridge waiting on you. Actually, I've had a couple, but anyway, not today. But there's Guinness. The main reason I've thought it would be cool to have Jason Momoa in the studio is because he seems to have fun wherever he goes, and I think he'd be a blast to have in the studio and draw and talk art and creativity and whatever he's up to and draw his picture while I'm at it. But haven't heard from him yet. So if you're out there, Jason, Mr. Momoa, I'm here. So as I've said in the precursor, let me wet my whistle here. In the precursor, I wanted to do something wildlife-ish. And I ran across this photograph a while back. And this animal just looked so contented that I kind of wanted to draw it. It's just full of expression. And knowing that photographers are artists as well, and the photographer in this case took a fantastic picture that I'm going to use as reference. I give a shout out to who was the original photographer, and that is a Michelle Peters. This animal is a relatively famous animal. She is from the Cincinnati Zoo, and went through some trials early in her life, but right now she's a healthy, happy hippo, and I'm going to draw a picture. So, because it was a great picture, and I figure, okay, let's change it up enough that it's not just a direct copy of the photographer's image, but it's a nice piece. So, let me start by moving this over to there. And there you can see her face up there in the left-hand corner, up by where the chat is. So, if you're interested in chatting and asking a question about the process, I'm here. So, what of this am I going to use as reference? First thing I'm going to do is I am going to get the right pencil on here. And I'm going to lay it out. Lay out my rough. All my guidelines. Guidelines are not written in stone. Remember that. Guidelines are not written in stone. So I set up my image. And there we go. There we go. There we go. And bring that down. And bring that up. Here we go. All right. Now, basic images. I see this area. Figure, and remember, we're thinking of this as a jigsaw puzzle. Each piece relates to the next piece, relates to the next piece, and so on. And if your guideline isn't right the first time, move it. Change it. It's all about guidelines at this point. Don't sweat the rest. Don't think it has to be right the first time around. It won't be. I can guarantee your guideline is not going to be first on and right. I'm going to do that. That's going to come down like that, which means that's going to do that. That's going to do that. And we've got some information there. Some information there. And we get the halfway mark. It does this, it does that. That does this. Fixing things and looking at the overall puzzle as I go along. That. It comes up like that. Changing my guidelines so that I get the right image and everything in its place. It comes around like that. Yeah, that's about right. Some guidelines that are not the edge of her features, but sometimes it's just the shadowing that I'm getting a line to. That, okay, it's going to do that. Yeah. Let's try that again. There we go. That comes down like that. That comes down like that. See, it took me 3. You can see the 3. 1, 2, 3 to get this in the right spot. That comes like that. Get the right shape here. That, like that. Now remember, all I'm really worried about here is that it looks like a hippo. I'm not trying to draw Fionas. specifically her portrait. I'm just trying to draw a hippo with this absolutely fantastic, contented look on her face that she does. Okay. And then I'm going to do no. Do I want that line there? I'm going to leave it there for right now because that's going to fade off, I think. I'm going to keep that fade off. Alright, so there's my guidelines. Now I'm going to try a new brush that I picked up. My brushes I get from different online sources. If you pick up magazines, certain digital magazines, you'll be able to. Some of these magazines give away brushes for Photoshop, and that's where I pick up new brushes and try them out. So again, what I'm doing in this case, now that I've got that, I'm gonna change my opacity here so that it's not so strong, but I'm keeping the guideline there so I can see it. And then we're going to go to the new layer and the new brush. And let's see what it does. Since a lot of my wildlife is ink drawings, I'm going to see if I can do this as an ink drawing on the paper the way I've got it. So, as always, I'm going to start with the eyes. This is kind of interesting. I like this pen. Very thin, but I'm going to try opening it up a little bit. That's a little better. And we'll look at this and these. Oh yeah. Nobody commenting yet. So I'll take that as a good sign and just keep going. And fill that in. Yeah. Oh yeah. Little bits at a time. Think of this as an ink drawing, so I'm not going to fill with shade as much as I'm going to fill with line work. some fun here. My ink style that I'm employing here is what's called cross-hatching, so that I'm building line work and crossing the lines to make it darker. And I'm going piece by piece to get ultimately what I want. All right. Fill this area in. And then come back and do this. Very cool, very cool. Still nothing in the chat, so when I'm doing a piece like this, I'm doing this for a reason, in that later on, another day, another time, I'm gonna have to, for some reason, draw alien wildlife. Let's say that. And I want to have something that's, well, it's kind of this and kind of that, and kind of the other. And I can go back in my muscle memory and go, oh, yeah, I drew a hippo. And this is what I did when I drew that hippo. Now, what part of that hippo do I want to use for my alien animal? And because I've done it, I can revert back to this, look at what I did. Oh yeah, I remember that. And I put that stuff in there, and I did that. And that just all adds this texture and vibrance to it. And a bit of reality to something that doesn't exist. Some of you may have noticed or would remember the fact that I keep saying over and over, I see dragons. Why don't you? Well, this is the whole point of that statement. If I wanted to draw a fat dragon, I would go refer to and pull up reference on a hippo. Because that's going to show me skin texture, skin lighting. All that important information. Right now I'm working on my mediums and darks, medium darks and mediums, because the medium of my paper is already putting a lot of information down on this image. So what I've got to do is get the medium darks and the dark darks in with the remembrance that I'm going to go back and add white. And I'm trying to follow a grain, if you will. This is going to give me light shadow variances. Each piece of the puzzle as I go around and add information so that things look right. Even though it's a bunch of lines, show you a bit more. There you go. See what I'm working from better. Because what I'm going to do here is the grain of my line work is showing me it's referencing the shape that I'm shading. So I don't want to draw absolute straight lines. I want to draw things that have a curve to them. You're starting to see the roundness of that hippo's nose and nostrils. Your eyes automatically starting to blend it in. Instead of seeing a bunch of lines, you're starting to see how it all blends together and makes a shape. See how that works? closer together these things are, the darker the blend. More lines, the darker. And I'm liking this new pen, this new brush that I'm using. It's a sketch pen. Let's come over this way. I'm going to tilt this so that I get the angle that I want for my line work. That's good. That's good. Very nice, very nice. This is going to come down like this. Now, normally I would do this kind of a drawing all by hand or traditional means, but I'm liking doing this digitally. I wanted to try out this new brush specifically, so this works for me. Just for giggles, let's get rid of the guidelines. Still holds up pretty good. Put that back. Definitely, definitely. Coming along nicely. Giving me texture, giving me line, giving me form, shape. All these things are showing up as I'm doing this. Yeah, that's all coming together. No questions yet, so I guess everybody's liking what they're seeing. everything's coming together nicely. I'm liking this a lot so far. These lines are going to blend together and some of them I'm just going to leave. Leave them exactly as they are. Because they belong that way. Now my art director, who I can hear behind me, usually likes to see me draw something really, really cutesy bootsy. She comes by and she goes, "Isn't that cute? It's mine!" I wasn't in the mood for that today. Still,
It's a hippopotamus.
it's a happy hippo.
Cool.
There you go.
Thank you.
So, had a very contented look on her face.
She does. Cool.
So that's what I'm going for. Is I'm trying to capture that that feeling that yes, here I am.
You're doing well.
How you feeling?
A little better. Not going to work tonight.
Oh. Okay. I'll talk to you about it later. again. Just come up like this. This comes like that. And that is a happy, happy hippo. Get some big areas to fill here.
Is it harder to draw non-furry creatures versus furry ones?
Yes. Because there's an awful lot I can get away with as far as how I've learned to draw fur. When I'm trying to draw a textured animal that's got lots of creases and stuff, I have to go back 2 and 3 times to make sure I get it right. Because I can't just fudge it and say, oh, that's fur. No, I have to get it just right as far as the shading, and then I'm going to come back and put some of these creases and folds in her skin where it overlaps and rolls over. Things like that. I need to get that. I need to get the tone of the muscle and everything right before I put in the creases. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Each pass adds a little bit more shade and blends a little bit more so that it all, in the end, looks like a shade or a tone, not a bunch of lines. Because your brain, quite honestly, is lazy. It doesn't want to have to look at each individual line. So it blends it together. Oh, this is a shade. I can just blend this all together. And it'll look in the brain like he wants it to look. And it do. Put some of this stuff in. Nice. Sometimes the direction of my cross hatching, the most relevant level of it, is me showing you the grain of the skin and how it is falling across these areas. Which is very important because it has to flow the right direction, it has to flow the right way. I am really liking this new brush that I picked up. It is really laying down color the way I want it to. Where have you been?
You put it out.
I can't say. Actually, I probably could. I mean, since it was out in a public forum and they've put it out.
Well, how did you find out about it?
Well, I picked it up because of my subscription to Imagine FX.
Okay.
And since they put it out digitally by way of their latest digital magazine, I can say that if you pick up their latest manga issue related to manga art, that there inside you will find the links to pick up this fancy new pen that I've got.
Okay.
Or brush that I've got. So, that in mind, that is where I picked up this brush from Imagine FX, their latest digital edition. remember the only gray overtone in this piece is that of my starter paper. I actually scanned a page of my Strathmore gray toned paper to get this image to draw on, just like I would if I were working traditionally. I'm almost to a point where I want to start working on the white. Almost. Got some things to do here. Gotta finish up this neck area. Very nice. Hit something here that I haven't had to yet. Go get some of that. That's better. Okay. Keep this underside nice and light. want to go too heavy with anything. There we go. Uh-huh. Okay. See, I'm using these guidelines to find some of these rollover shapes. Because they don't have a hard line. But I've defined that shadow well enough so that it looks like it rolls over. Yeah. Here we go. That's starting to look really cool. And now I'm going to hit some of these things. Like this. That. Now I'm going to open that up a bit. Let's see some of these cracks, crevices. Yes. See how I'm following the line of my brakes in the Hippo's cross hatching that I've done. I just add a bit of oomph here and there. Don't have to do a lot, just enough. As I've said before, it's not always what you put in, it's sometimes what you leave out. And this time, I'm leaving some stuff out of the dark line because I don't need it. Some things on here that I'm gonna accentuate in a minute, but he's got these big, or she's got these big whisker areas that are relevant in some places and relevant and not in others. So I've got to hint at them that they're there. Remember, I'm going to be coming back with white highlights here in a minute. Okay, now, new layer, make it white, and we'll hit back here for a second. I'm sorry?
You didn't need a shadow?
Yeah, it's got a shadow. I mean, that's that whole body that's over here.
Sure.
So now I'm going to go back. Bump this up. And hit some of these things. I thought you'd gone to sleep.
I was tempted. Lots of tempted people do that.
And we're almost done with this one.
I'm gonna go take a rest. What are you doing? Go.
Well, like I said, I'm almost done, and then I want to talk to you.
Fine.
And there it is. Nice hippo. that's where I'm going to call it. Yep, that's it. Got through the whole thing, no questions, so I guess that's a good sign, I guess. I don't know.
No question?
No questions. So what I will do is call it at this point because I'm happy with the piece. Sign it, and I'll show it here in a few minutes. Here we go. Sign it. Here we go. Awesome. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching today's piece come together. I hope you learned something as far as how I go about putting everything together. And as usual, be kind to each other, be patient with each other, and get out there and go sketch something. It's safe to go out of the house, I guess, with vaccinations and whatnot. So, again, when you go out, draw what you see, not what you know. And me, I see dragons. Why don't you? Thanks for stopping by again. Bye-bye.